So just this week it was announced that alumni basketball tournament's happening once again. This will be my 9th alumni basketball tournament back in my hometown. And immediately when it was announced and my wife heard that I was doing it, she immediately put me in the doghouse. She's like, "You're not doing that again." The reason why is my bones are ancient and she's fearful of an injury.
Well, good for you, though. Good for you, getting back on the horse and doing something that we did as kids,
Yeah, but now it's time to think back, okay, if it's not basketball, what other things was I really good at when I was younger, but now it's just bound for an emergency room trip if we try to do it again. I grew up on a farm, so I'll preference that with the whole list. My number 3 is hay bale jumping. So people who maybe grew up in the city have no idea what hay bale jumping is. You have a line of hay bales and you jump from bale to bale, nimbly-bimbly across each one of them. When I was a little kid, I could run across no problem. But now if I tried to even jump one hay bale from another, it's about a 5-foot gap.
I'll say, how far do we go here?
You're looking at a pretty good injury. So whether you get stuck in the face with a hay strand, or if you fall down, or if you just succumb to hay fever, you're just bound for an emergency room.
Okay, don't tell me these. I'll believe everything you say when you talk about farm stuff, because I'm like, oh my god, that happens? Hay fever from touching hay? So my number 3 is really simple, and so when you're our age, if you haven't done it in a while, and then you think you can still, it's still a bit scary. So
what's it?
Riding a bike down a steep hill with no hands.
Oh yeah, hands.
Nope. My kid just now is like switching to 2 wheels instead of the training wheels, and so I did some rides with her, and when I take my hands off, I'm like, oh god, so I'm like, what happened? This used to be so easy. Like, if I could imagine if I right now turned, I went straight down the hill with no hands, it'd be over.
Yeah, it'd be face plant.
Yeah, it'd be like Funeral City.
I was never that good at the no hands thing or standing up on the bike. I mean, I was just your normal ride with 2 hands and no fancy tricks. But you could do some tricks?
I mean, if you consider that a trick, I could go anywhere, everywhere, no hands and no problem. Now, not a chance. I can't go 3 feet.
No.
Without something happening. My number 2 is very similar to your number 3.
Okay.
And that is, the way that we called it was box dunking. Okay, look, we didn't have a trampoline. We were poor, okay? So we just took a box that we had in the garage, and we would run and we would jump off the box and dunk it. And the box, I don't know how sturdy it was.
That doesn't sound too safe.
When you're our age, we're dipping in the 190s, 200s. It's not a smart idea probably to jump on a rickety box in the garage to try to dunk, let alone.
No, I got weak ankles, and so that doesn't bode well for the ankles.
You're just looking at an injury. So most of you said, yeah, when I was a kid, we used trampolines and jumped and dunked. We didn't have that, okay? We got a box in the garage. Get off it.
Yeah, that's a trampoline is something I still do. We got one at home with the girls, so I still enjoy that. So I guess thankfully I have experience with that. Box jumping, no, it sounds too dangerous for me.
Could we combine them, and could you do hay bale
jumping, dunking?
Hay bale onto a dunk?
Yeah, well, we used to have a hoop against my garage, and my garage had a door that didn't quite close all the way. So when I played against my dad, he'd actually jump off the door and dunk it against me all the time. He seemed like such a man at the time, but now he's cheating. My number 2 has to do with balancing when you're on the bike, but that's dizzy bat. So you remember the game where you used to spin around on the bat and then race toward in a straight line?
Yeah.
I could spin for hours and not get dizzy whenever I was a kid. Whatever superhuman strength that I had, that's what it was. And I could run in a straight line to sprint, even after that fact. But now, if I try to make a quick turn off my desk, I get really dizzy. So it's a tough thing to imagine doing 5 dizzy spins in a row.
Well, not to mention, kids nowadays fill the dizzy bat with beer.
It's true.
Drink the bat, then do it.
Yeah. That doesn't sound fun to me.
I mean, that sounds like a horrible game.
Sounds like a good way to throw up.
I'm not doing that. I'm staying away from that. Like,
no.
We can't even, yeah, no.
My number 1 is climbing a tree. We might have the same number 1. No,
I don't have climbing trails. Okay. You said good when we were kids, right?
That's
I always sucked at this.
So again, I grew up on a farm and there wasn't much to do, so I jump on hay bales and I climb trees. When I was a 10-year-old kid, I had the grip strength of a Peruvian spider monkey. But now, 25 years later, lots of popcorn, buttery stuff, Netflix marathons, and then sitting on the couch all the time, my grip is gone, and I've lowered my center of gravity, just to put it in a mildly way. I've gained some weight. So I don't think I'm going to be poking up any trees anytime soon.
We could try that one with you.
No.
No.
Plus, I've evolved to have a fear of heights, and so I don't think if I got too far up a tree, then I'd probably be scared.
Yeah, I think I hit my peak grabbing things when I did a little CrossFit, and that's pretty much all you do in CrossFit is like you grab stuff. So that was my peak. I was like 27 or something. I don't know, but like as a youth for me, do you remember? And this could be on my list. This is not my number one, but do you remember the flexed arm hang? As a kid, like you just grab the bar, and hold it. The PE teacher would just time you.
Then you get to shaking.
Yeah, everyone's shaking. Like I was, for me, it was like just throwing a couple spaghetti noodles over there. It was like, and then I would just fall off. Right? I couldn't do that. I wasn't the kid that climbed the rope.
Yeah, I couldn't climb a rope very well either.
No way. So like for me, climbing a tree, I would look at a tree as a kid. I'm like, I can't make it.
Yeah, give up.
I was never good at it. My number one is what you have and you've been practicing again. So maybe you're in better shape than me. But I couldn't do the trampoline jumping. Especially we played a trampoline soccer game. Mm-hmm. Where like the two tags on the edges were the goal, the posts, and you try to kick the ball through from off of the trampoline. And you had to be a goalie and save it.
Right.
No, not a chance anymore. Not a chance. I'm flying off of there. I'm sliding into the coils, and everyone's blood's coming everywhere. But they have all the nets now. Hopefully they help that.
That's true. They made trampolines a lot safer over the past 20 years. Because when I was growing up, there was no such thing as a net. There were many times that people flew off of there. In fact, one time, and I will tell this story very quickly. One time I was playing basketball. We had a hoop next to the trampoline. I actually popped a guy up over the backboard, and he landed in the yard. Walked away. No injuries whatsoever. You do that now as a 37-year-old adult, you go in the emergency room.
I can see my stomach landing on the hoop. We're just being stuck up there, and then it's like an episode of 911.